Now here we'll go over some of the tools here. Now this is not, hold on a second. This is not a video on tools, tool safety, okay? I mean, a climbing saw for making larger pruning cuts, a little bigger saw for the ground, pair of chaps, leg chaps, a hard hat with a strap, chin strap, a climbing belt with 2 lanyards so you're always roped into something, a short climbing line, a relatively short tree, a pole saw, chainsaw on a pole, may or may not need it, or we may need a pole saw, regular pole saw or loppers. But somebody looking at this stage of the pruning, okay, and here's a very important tool. Let's see, we're going to have to go up this tree, okay, and get up in there. So, yep, this is a set of spikes for climbing to get up into the tree to where you need to be. Psych, no, we will not be using spikes on this tree, but we will be using a ladder to get into the tree. And yeah, spikes make wounds, and wounds can lead to infections and things of that nature. And this is not necessary. Now, there are times in these larger trees that the climber may need spikes to get to the top of the tree and then lose them after that, or you know, aerial rescues and things of that nature, of course. But they will not be required on this. That was just a little joke. So, okay. So again, this is a maple tree. And again, especially when there's leaves on the tree, from a distance, it's going to look like a nice lollipop, okay? Which is not actually how a tree, if you were actually, for me to draw a picture of a maple tree, I would have a long, single, slender stem with a little crown at the top. That's how they are in the group. But when they're out in the open like this, they need that pruning. And so you take a closer look and you're going to start to see where we're going to start to have our failures and our risks, things of that nature. So first I'm going to take off a few of the lower branches. I'll take them back to the branch collar. I think we'll get rid of the one with the crack in it. And any of these other lower branches that we're keeping, especially the ones that are competing for the sunlight, we call them co-dominant leaders. They're co-dominantly reaching for the sun. You have, here's 2 here that are co-dominant, and then it branches up to here. There's 2 more co-dominant ones. And normally in a forest ecosystem, which is, a forest is an ecosystem, I'm sorry, very redundant. In an ecosystem that we call a forest, the trees will grow, and this type of V-crotching and codominancy usually doesn't take place until, if it's a canopy tree, upper canopy, until the trees are very small, tall, and then they go into codominancy and what have you, and form their crown at the top. This tree does it at a lower level, and it's going to be a problem. So we're going to start to remove some, and the ones that we're not removing now, we're going to prune them back a little bit to reduce that dominancy. And then eventually, over a 3-year period, I believe our goal will be removing these lower branches completely, and ending up with more of a single leader tree, a longer lived, safer, healthy, attractive tree. Of course, I'm always going to recommend mulching this tree while we're pruning it, and also fertilizing with micro elements. I like to keep the nitrogen low for many reasons. So, okay. First other thing I'm going to do now, this to me takes guts to make this cut here. Maybe if I can see better if I stand back. It's a little foggy here. With all this going on here, this is raised here and transformed. Here's a branch bark ridge. I'm afraid if we cut down here, we're going to be removing a lot of parent stem tissue. But while we also have a branch bark ridge here, I could remove a single one here, or a single one here. Sometimes I just make a cut here and here if I'm removing the whole branch and leave this and see what happens. We'll do that for now, and then if we'll see what happens, and if the homeowner says, oh, we want that cut off of there, then we'll still have a picture record of how the tree responds to that type of treatment. But this is so we're going to go around and we're going to remove this branch with the crack back to the branch collar without removing the parent stem, and we'll take off a couple of little ones. We'll do that on the ground before we get into the tree. Okay, so here we have, we're going to make our cut. It's going to get a little noisy, and first thing we're going to do is make an undercut of north, of course. This is all stuff that's in the tree pruning book by Dr. Shigo. I'm not going to go over all that in this. But we're going to reduce the weight out here, and we're going to remove this branch.